Just your average everyday trucker, keeping it real. I'm your host, Chris Blodgett, and you're listening to Real Talk Tuesday. Today's topic is it doesn't matter how fast the results as long as you keep on moving forward. This is episode 78. So, once again, guys, welcome. I appreciate you being here. My name is Chris. I'm your host, and this is this week's episode of Real Talk Tuesday. Today's topic is basically, the inspiration for that is basically, as you guys are aware by this point, I am kind of not a jack of all trades, but I do a couple different things because basically my goal eventually is to eventually get myself off the road and be doing stuff from home, and basically retire myself out of the 9-to-5 job, which is not really a 9-to-5 job. It's my fellow truckers out there, you guys know what I'm talking about. It's like, yeah, there are some trucking jobs where they do literally an 8-hour shift, but most of the jobs that we do, even local ones, you're not doing an 8-hour shift. You're at least doing probably 10, 11, sometimes 14. That's the only reason why, if I were to take a job getting paid by the hour as a driver, I would probably take a job at pay 30 or 35 an hour. Because from what it sounds like, yeah, if you did a 40-hour week, you're probably not making as much as you make doing what I currently do. But on average, I've heard that they do like 55 hours a week or whatever, so you're getting paid the 40 plus overtime. So that's the only reason why, like, when I've kind of looked at and kind of pondered. I haven't made a decision yet. Like, I don't know if I'm going to leave my current job or if I'm going to stick around for quite a while. Because honestly, my preference in doing what I'm currently doing is to not start over. Not do another job and basically start over from scratch, from the bottom, and basically have to acquire time and service, kind of. Not that as a trucker, like, there's, we don't really care as much about seniority, like, hey, I've been here longer, because a lot of us are out here working by ourselves anyways. So it's like, honestly, it doesn't quite matter how long we've been here, because whether we're here for a year or 5 years or 10 years, we're still basically going to do the same job. I mean, maybe we'll get paid more, but it's like with my PTO issue with my current employer. I don't, as far as I know, I don't think we get any raises the longer we're here. Basically, we just, I mean, we might, who knows, but I just passed my 1-year mark and there's no like raises or anything at that point, so I'm kind of doubting, might be a spontaneous thing. But so the inspiration for today's topic, kind of it doesn't matter how quickly you see results. what matters is basically just continuing to move forward. Is I have a couple of things on the side that I'm building, a couple little side gigs, so to speak. And those of course are on the because being that I'm a podcast host, I have the website for the Blodgett Show. If you want to check out those other opportunities, there's like 4 of them I have listed now. If you go to blodgettshow.com/promotions, plural with an S on the end. There's 4 links on there. 2 of them are for the online bank, Sophie, where you can basically for any new account you can basically sign up for a new checking and savings, fund your account with $10, and then they'll give you like a $25 bonus. And then if you share your link with others, when they sign up and put $10 in their account, they'll get a $25 bonus, and you'll get $75. Well, actually, it's changed now. It's actually $100 now. I believe the investment part, that one, I think it's like they get 25 and you get 50 if you're sharing your link with people. So, and then there's 2 other side gigs that I'm doing that I have those links on there as well. One of them's like a copy and paste ad business where you copy and paste pre-written ads or whatever. It's like $129 to get started, and then of course as you're finding places that you can actually, what I'm currently doing with that one is basically try to, because I mean there's a lot of sites you can technically copy and paste an ad for like a work from home stuff, but there's a lot of places that'll reject it, no matter how you word it. But I've managed to find a couple places that I've actually been able to post ads for free with the league and all that stuff. So part of it, and then of course like part of the moving forward part is on Friday. It was like Thursday or Friday, I think it's Friday. I went online and I did one of those solo ad campaigns. I had never done them, but I was talking to a guy that is pretty successful, has a couple side gigs he does, whatever. But his business is pretty pricey to get into. It's one of those where like you can come in at one of the lower levels at like 100, 300, 600. There's like 1,000, 2,000, 4,000. And if you come in at one of the lower levels and you end up doing, let's say you come in at 1,000 and you bring in somebody that comes in the 4,000, you basically would make your get paid at the level you're at, but then the part, anything above that would go to your sponsor. And I've always hated setups like that, mainly because I was in a business like that where it would have like 6,000, and I was I had worked my way up, with commissions that I earned, saved, I set them aside, and I saved up from like the 250. I made a couple of the 250 sales, upgraded myself to the 1,000, and then I had somebody come in at 6,000. So I made 1,000, or minus the fee or whatever, because I don't think we made exactly what our level was. It might have been like 800. Like 200 goes to the company, and we made 800, whatever. One of those type of programs. It was a mailbox gig where you're mailing out letters, and flyers, or whatever to join the program, and you get the website stuff. But yeah, it was interesting, a lot of work. But I had someone come in at 6,000. Basically, like I lost 4.5, 5,000 above that because my sponsor made it, and I thought that sucks. So, but with the businesses I'm currently involved in, the copy and paste ads, I did a solo ad campaign. I think I paid like $13. Found a couple that were from that app called Fiverr, and a couple of providers that were pretty highly rated. I didn't look at ones that were just had like 1 5-star review. There's one that was like it was rated 4.5 out of 5. Had like 150 ratings. I thought, well, that's pretty good. I'd rather have a 4.5 rating with 150 people that rated it versus like 5.0 for like 2 people, because that tells me that they've had a lot of customers. A lot of customers rated it pretty high. So I went with that one. It was like $13. I think they basically were gonna send out. I gave them my link and wrote up a little text ad or whatever, and basically it was like $13 for like 15,000 leads that they're gonna send your stuff to, and it was gonna get sent out within 2 days. It was gonna be sent out on Monday this week. So was there. That's cool. I figured I'd give it a shot. And then, so it got sent out yesterday, and then today, even though I didn't get any new customers, I did wake up to 2 emails. Basically, there's 2 people that opted in. They didn't go all the way to where they became customers yet, but they opted in, and so I had 2 new contacts. I had, message from the website or whatever, basically saying, this person, you got this person's contact info, this person's contact info. Oh, cool, all right, So technically, in a way, it's almost like, oh, cool, I guess I'm starting to grow an email list, I guess, But even though there's no sales, the inspiration for this, for tonight's topic was kind of based on that. Because I thought, you know what, I don't think I've ever, because that was without me, going online and talking, posting in a bunch of groups, talking to a bunch of people. All I did is I thought I'd try something new, did solo ad campaign, and so far I've gotten those 2 contacts, which who knows, maybe it'd be cool if I get more, and hell, it'll be even better if I get a couple of sales, because hey, those are $100 a pop, whenever they join in and actually pay their fee or whatever, that's $100 instant commission. So I'm like, oh cool, all right, but that to me made me go, I just need to keep at it. In fact, I'm probably going to do the next solo ad campaign I do will probably be the Accelerate business. That is the 4th link. If you go onto blogicsshow.com/promotions or go to the drop-down menu and click on promotions, that's the 4th link right there, where basically on that business you can actually earn up to $3,000 per month as your matrix fills up without having any referrals. Now, obviously, up to 3, we have it listed up to 3 referrals, you end up making $9,000 per month. As the matrix fills up, and so really look forward to that. But I hear it will take a while, obviously. Which there's a monthly cost to that to actually be active in the matrix, like $20 a month. So that's just one of those things. I'm like, you know what? That next solo ad campaign, I'm basically going to be doing that. But go with that business and stuff. There's one business I am looking at that's actually more of a high ticket thing. That sounds really good, but I have to basically, there's a replay on the Zoom I gotta watch, so that right there, kind of been putting it off, gotta get at it, But in order for us to make results in anything, guys, we just have to, keep at it. My bro Rico, amazing podcast. If you look him up on Spotify, it's like the Alien in the Basement podcast. So he would do hip hop stuff. It was really good, but he would only post a new episode probably once every couple weeks or once every month and a half. He'd do another episode. He wasn't really getting anybody listening to his podcast, and basically he ended up deciding to shut it down. I told him, man, that sucks, man, because your podcast is amazing. He's like, yeah, you're probably the only one listening to it. So yeah, probably, who knows. And of course, that's why I'm trying to be consistent with mine, because I know that if I only post, if I don't, lately I've kind of been dropping the ball slightly, because when these Real Talk Tuesday episodes finally get posted, it's usually a little bit into Wednesday, but it's still Real Talk Tuesday, But I'm at least trying to be consistent and not go not take a week where I don't post anything. Because one of the solo ad campaigns I'm thinking about doing for getting a bunch of emails out there will be, and I don't know how well it's going to go, but I figured I might give it a shot. Get a solo ad campaign out there, 15, 20, whatever thousand people, and sending out my website for the podcast, blogicsshow.com, and see if maybe I can get my show in front of more people, because I know I am being downloaded. I know that people are listening. There's not a lot, it's probably 10 to 20 downloads a week currently, which is still not bad, for being a fairly new podcast. Would I like for it to be a lot further along? Hell yeah, because one of the goals that I have is to be able to do the podcast full time and not have to work a regular job. Be working from home full time and be able to focus on making it an even better show. but I know it's gonna take a minute, you know. So, but anyway, guys, we just gotta keep pushing forward. You know, you gotta like, you know, one of the sayings I always say, you know, we only fail if we quit, walk away, and give up. And so we have to just keep pushing on. And Sally, it is way too easy. It's way too easy for us to get down about it. You know, to feel like, what's the point? Why do I even bother trying? You know, especially with like trying to do stuff online where you're trying to set up, get something going where you're actually gonna, you know, money on the side coming in, with the hopes that maybe you can replace what you're currently doing. Or hell, I know a lot of people that actually, they're doing stuff on the side, but they love what they do for their main jobs. So they have no intention of leaving their job. They're just doing stuff on the side to you know, boost their income a little bit more. You know, like with me, I love what I do and I make decent money doing it. But I very much would like the free time to be able to do other stuff. One of the things I told my wife was that I would love to get back into the YMCA, but the way I look at it is like, it doesn't make sense for me to go you know, reinstate our membership and only be able to have the time to get there and work out on my days off. Doesn't make sense for me to go in there only 2 days a week. I mean, you won't really see much, like a whole lot of results if you're only working on stuff, you know, a little bit. Like for a little bit, before I did my current job, I had a more set time frame where it was like 1:30 in the afternoon, and I was usually getting done by like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And so I started for probably about 2 or 3 months. I think it was about 2 months. I had the Y membership, and I was getting up early, probably by like 10 o'clock in the morning. I'd usually be at the Y by 10:45. Spend about 45 minutes to an hour at the Y. I would do the trade-off. Like one day do the weights, one day do the go upstairs and do the track. You know, I'd walk 2 miles, and I rotate it like that. And I did, you know, I mean, I felt better. Like I was feeling pretty good after the first couple weeks. I was like, all right, cool. Like I'm noticing I'm more energized. You know, strength is a little bit better. But I hadn't really noticed as far as like physical, like how I was looking. You know, I hadn't seen it, but then like I think I did took like a selfie or something where you saw a little bit of my upper half, but you saw a lot more like of my, you know, obviously my shoulders, my neck, and my head. And I think it was my bro Rico that was like, bro, like I keep doing what you're doing, man. It's working. I'm like, what are you talking about? He was like, I can tell, man. It's like, I think your neck, man. Like, you look like you're thinning down or whatever. I was like, really? I was like, I'm looking at myself in the mirror. I don't see it. So I was like, all right, well, hold on a second, man. So I had a picture, you know, because a few years prior to that, when I was, you know, a little bit, maybe a little bit heavier, but you know, it hadn't really changed. It wasn't too much different weight-wise. But I wasn't working out in the gym at that point. But I had a picture with me with my shirt off, you know, in the mirror, doing the whole mirror selfie. You know, from the front, from the side, from the back. You know, and so I did new pictures from the front, side, back of the current, you know, me currently, and I had those other pictures, and I sent the originals to Rico, and then I sent the current ones to Rico. I said, all right, well, tell me, like, do you think I look different from these other pictures? He said, oh yeah, you can totally see, you know, you look more toned up top, you know, and you can definitely see it's trimming up. I'm like, huh. So that was kind of inspiring, you know. I definitely appreciated being told that, because a lot of times, I'm sure anyone out there that if you've, you know, you worked out for a little bit or whatever, maybe you thought you didn't notice anything that was having any effect, and so maybe you stopped. But you know, other people notice, you know, and I would have kept going, but I was doing that, and then of course I think around that time was when I had the slip and fall, you know, down the flight of stairs because of the ice or whatever, and basically I was, you know, I mean, I had trouble walking. because I had one of my legs I couldn't really lift up or whatever very easily. So, and if I got my personal vehicle in order to get, I couldn't literally lift my leg to pull it in. I had to reach out my hand and grab my leg and like lift it up into the car or whatever. So for a while I wasn't able to go back to the gym and work out because it was like, well, yeah, I'm kind of fucked up, so can't really go. But so anyway, I know it can be hard, and I know like sometimes like hell, I struggle with motivation myself. There's where I'm trying to push forward, trying to keep moving, to keep trying, and like any little results that whenever I have even little results, like the 2 opt-ins, I was surprised, and yeah, I went and looked at a couple of my accounts like PayPal, Zelle, Venmo, whatever, to check out, because I was like, well, I don't think those are actually sign-ups. I think they just opted in to get information or whatever, on the next page or whatever. So I was like, yeah, I didn't get paid. That would have been cool. I'd say that's $200 I would have made, but sadly I didn't. And it's one of those things. I was like, oh man, and I didn't really feel like I really worked for those opt-ins. Would I've been really happy if they actually had fully signed up to start what I'm doing and paid their money. I'm like, hell yeah, but it's a win despite that, because I actually got some opt-ins or whatever. So it's one of those things. I just have to, I figure I'm gonna try to make it a plan to do the solo ads at least once a week. I see, and I'm gonna start doing them for the accelerate business too, the one that's $20 per month, but that you can eventually be making up to $3,000 per month through just the matrix without any sign up, any referrals. Obviously, you can make more if you have referrals, but I'm gonna maybe start sending out a solo ad blast with that business as well, and then maybe solo ad blast about the podcast. Hell, maybe even send out one to put the Sophie promotion in front of people. Because who knows? Hey, if I send out 20,000 emails about the Sophie promotion and I get 10 people to sign up, hey, there's $1,000 right there, because I'll be making $100 a pop. They make 25. So I have to check to see if that actually went up too, because I know it was 75 for if somebody were to join with my promotional link, but now it's 100, and it was 25 for new customers that they would make after they do their $10 deposit. That amount might have gone up too. I gotta check, because maybe they're making 50 now, but I gotta look. But so to move on a little bit, and not just talk about business opportunities and whatnot. So tonight was pretty typical day. I don't know what I'm going to be doing here in a little bit, because basically it's probably about like 9:40ish. I was all ready to go, but I hadn't heard anything from the boss, and I basically went ahead and I figured be ready to walk out the door. So I got into my FedEx gear. I filled my water bottles up, grabbed my meal prep out of the fridge, had it in my bag with the fork and the 2 packs of peanut butter crackers, my glucose meter to check blood sugar and all that fun stuff. And at 9:40, I basically messaged my boss and was like, so have you heard anything from Lighthall yet, about what they want me to do? And he's like, yeah, they're going to have you go to Paducah to start. So we'll go ahead and head on in. I'm like, okay. Thinking, they're going to send me to Paducah. And then what are they going to do? Try to send me to like Huntsville afterwards, but it would be really late. So I am probably about maybe an hour and 15 away from Nashville. And I'm kind of thinking, even though I'd love to do at least one other thing, just miles wise, to make at least a somewhat regular night. But I think it's like 130 miles out to Paducah and 130 back, so there's 260. So if it's something where I can get like another 100 miles, then paycheck, this should be okay. But even with what I'm currently doing tonight, I'm not too worried about it. because when I ran on Friday night, that team up in Illinois didn't get there until like 12:40, and that's into the new pay week. So my last half of that trip was going on this week. So if I don't do anything else tonight, at least I'm averaging out. But I'm kind of half expecting to get back to Nashville and not have anything else in the system. And if that's the case, I don't know. I'm gonna call and be like, hey, by the way, do you guys have anything else you need me to do? Because honestly, like, I'm not really a huge fan of doing multiple rounds of doubles. I don't mind doing like one set from Nashville, take it somewhere, and then do a set to come back. But doing one set to Nashville, and then doing a set from wherever, like to Knoxville or whatever, taking that like a set to like somewhere else, and then doing another set somewhere else. I just basically, I'm not very quick with setting them up. I mean, I can be, depends on where I'm at. Like, if it's nice and level, and if they have a lot of room to work with, then I can probably get them set. And if they're lit up at night, then I can, you know, some places, like, you're setting up doubles and there's, like, no lights, so you're basically, you're trying to get set up as straight as possible, but then you find yourself, like, you're a little bit off, and so you have to set up again. It's like, okay, this sucks. But thankfully tonight, I ran into another driver out there in Paducah. He must have thought I was going to block him in, or like block his parking space, because I was dropping the rear trailer, and I dropped the dolly. My plan wasn't to necessarily leave it there. I was going to drop the rear trailer and the dolly, and I saw two empties off to the sides. They were going to send me back 2 empties to Nashville. So I was going to grab the dolly, and put the dolly in front of one of those empties with the intent to take those 2 empties, but then move those trailers and actually put them into an actual space, but not out in the middle of everything. Before I could even get around to doing much, I had the rear trailer dropped, the dolly dropped, still everything lined up where it normally was. I was getting back in to go ahead and move the front trailer, and there was a guy that was like, he just come in there and dropped some trailers, and I guess that's where he operates out of. So he pulled up and started walking over to my truck, and I was like, okay, here we go. He said, hey, did you already drop that rear trailer? I'm like, yeah, I'm just moving stuff around because I'm gonna take these 2 empties. Oh, okay, yeah, because it was basically like, oh yeah, like, you can't drop the trailers here, you know, because it'd be blocking such and such. So I was like, all right, I got you. Yeah, I'm not planning to drop here permanently. I'm just maneuvering these around. Oh, okay, cool. I was like, I'm going to take these 2 empties or whatever. He goes, oh, okay, yeah, I'll grab my gloves and help you or whatever. I was like, you don't have to. But... So I hooked up to the front trailer, went down to the end of the lot, parked in the space. By that point, I saw him walking over to the dolly, and he, like, literally, instead of hooking up to it and moving the dolly in front of the trailer, you know, with the truck, he actually, like, grabbed it, lifted the front end, and was maneuvering that himself to, like, you know, to turn it to line it up with the front of the trailer. And I was like, well, I appreciate that, you know, I mean, I'm willing to do that. So then I came back over there, grabbed the rear trailer, and then got that parked, and I came back over and started getting the 2 empties set up so I could take off or whatever. But I really appreciated him being willing to help, you know, because like all of us drivers out here, I mean, I'm not saying that we need to, like, hey, I'll do that for you, but when it comes to doubles or whatever, it's cool, you know. Anytime the guy's like, hey, I'll move this trailer over here for you, I'm like, oh, cool, all right. I ain't gonna complain, you know. Just like I've tried to make it easy on other drivers as well, you know. Like if I'm bringing a set of trailers back from Illinois and it's going to Atlanta, and there's a driver from Atlanta that, when I was doing that every day, so, you know, he would call or he would text me like, hey, like, what trailers are you bringing back? And I would tell him, he goes, hey, we're a match. So I would end up leaving those trailers hooked up just so that he could just come in, hook up, and go. But that was one of those things, if I didn't hear from him, then I was like, all right, well, you didn't message me, so I'm breaking them down, and if these are the trailers you're taking, then sucks for you. But usually I try to give him a heads up so that way he knows, but then, you know, sometimes I'll hear from him, sometimes not, so, whatever, you know. But So, I hope everybody had a wonderful Easter. It was a very interesting day for me because I, of course, like the team was running even later in Illinois that night. I couldn't leave with the load till like 8 o'clock. I think I left. Actually, I didn't leave it later. I didn't leave it like a little bit after 9. And I still took my time going out there because I figured if they're running later, they didn't get there until 12:45 a.m. on Saturday morning. So I thought they're probably going to be at least an hour later than that. If they're you look at like the history, anytime that you see like the first night they're there at a certain time, the next night they're there a little bit later. It's like Thursday night, they got there at like 11:40, and then Friday night they got there at 12:45 a.m. So then Saturday night, even with me making 2 stops, because I stopped and got something to eat on the way there, and I waited. I thought, well, it's gonna be really late, so I'm gonna wait to get a cappuccino until lately that's the main coffee I've been doing. So I'm not really a big coffee person, but I actually lately have grown to actually be really fond of cappuccinos from the truck stops, the ones that are already pre-mixed. You hold the button down on the machine and fill it up. Love it, mainly because you're still getting the caffeine, but they taste great, good old French vanilla. I don't know how people can do the drink their coffee black, but that's just me. I'm not like, I did coffee for so long when I was working overnight security up in Clinton, Iowa. I was working at a college, or a university rather, and basically was working like 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. or 8 to 7 or 10 to 7 or something like that. But they had to go and, obviously patrol all the different campuses. And back then, I was drinking coffee. I'd have literally a thermos I'd bring with me, and basically I'd brew the coffee at home, get ready to go, then fill it up, and get it all closed up with the lid so it would stay hot. And then after my patrols or whatever, I'd take the little lid off, whatever, pour myself a little cup of coffee, sit there and sip on it for a minute. But I was drinking so much coffee that after a while I actually got sick. So like I have not really been big on coffee since. I still like that, it's like, and I won't, mostly if I did caffeine up until lately, it would be like, Mountain Dew or 5-Hour Energy. Every so often a Red Bull, which I'm not really a big fan of energy drinks for the same reason. Relied on them really heavily for a while when I was out here on the road. Trying to build a online business online, while at the same time I was a full-time online student for University of Phoenix and doing 600 miles a day, and so I wasn't really getting a whole lot of sleep in between my driving shifts. And then after a while I came home for like Christmas or something. And I found myself, like, within a couple days, I noticed that my health was rapidly deteriorating to the point where it got where I could barely move, and I just felt like I was afraid I was dying, because it felt like I was going downhill really fast. I'm like, oh my god, but thankfully after about 2 weeks of me emailing or getting on the app for the carrier I drove for, and sending my driver manager, I guess. I don't remember what they were called. I think it was like driver business leader or driver manager or something. Messaging them and basically being like, hey, I'm really sick. I need you guys to take that load off me, and I'll let you know when I'm able to come back out there. All right, feel better soon. Let us know. We'll get you loaded. All right, cool. So it was about 2 weeks of my truck sitting out where it was, and finally my health started to turn back around. And I got to a point where I still wasn't fully recovered, but I was better. Good enough to where I messaged and say, yeah, I think I'm good. I think I'm good to go. Go ahead and get me loaded for tomorrow. All right, cool. We got a load assignment for you this week. Still took another 2 weeks before I was fully back on the mend, but that's why there's people out there that, like, for instance, my brother, love him to death, but when we were talking to him about the Primerica business that he's in, where him and my sister-in-law basically deal with insurance sales and whatnot, we got into this little debate where he was like, oh, you should just don't take a nap or whatever, don't worry about sleep as much. Just work on the business, work on the exams so you can get certified and talk to people, and I'm like, Josh, it's like I was like, I can't not sleep. I was like, I need to at least getting enough sleep. So I'm coming out here because I said I'm out here with like 80,000, not so much with FedEx now, but over the road, you're fully loaded legal weight is 80,000 pounds. And if you're out here driving under the influence, or you're out here driving without any sleep, you're a danger to everybody out here. So I was always like, Josh, I can't not sleep, because then I might end up killing myself or someone else. And I need to be able to rest. I was like, so I'm not gonna not get cut into my sleep just so I can work on this business, because I was like, that's not exactly a smart move. He's like, I understand. So I was like, so that's why I do what I do. Kind of work on things on the side as much as I can, and I'm trying to get back in the groove as far as podcasts, especially with the Storytime Friday episodes, because I like to give my friend Kirsten a little bit of a hard time, because I know for a while, whenever the Storytime Fridays were coming out, she was literally messaged right afterwards, like an hour later. Oh my God, your story was awesome. Oh my God, I'm not gonna mention her ex's name, but basically, she was like, if so and so, when he was trying to write books or whatever, if he could actually write like you, man, he would have actually sold some books. I was like, well, I appreciate that, thank you. But then she kind of, we still talk, but if I did the Storytime Friday, and then of course, I messaged her Saturday night, like, hey, so did you see the update? Try not to say, hey, there's a new story. I was trying to be like, hey, so did you see what's new? And she's like, what? And after a while, I finally said, new story, did you see it? She was, oh yeah, I'm sorry. Came home from work and fell asleep, and I'll probably listen to it tomorrow or Monday. Like, all right, thinking oh, obviously not that big of a deal. Not that important, I guess. Okay, But so I think it was Saturday night, and then Sunday morning, I think she finally listened to it or whatever, and I questioned, because of course, oh my God, yeah. She goes, oh yeah, I listened to it. Oh, it's really good. I was like, oh cool. What's your favorite part? I don't think she ever answered me on that one. So I would like to think. I don't think she would lie. So I think she did listen to it, but I'm like, did you really listen to it? Because you didn't tell me what you liked about it, what'd you think of the sound effects? Because that was all everything. Any of you that if you've already listened to the last Friday's story time, if you haven't, please go back and check it out. Because normally when those of you that are doing this podcast, what I try to do is Tuesdays, it's basically real talk, just whatever it might be, motivated or inspired to talk about that night. And then Friday, being that I'm a writer, what I try to do is I try to find time to, my days off or whatever, to go ahead and get online or get on my MacBook and basically just come up with a random story, and then Friday, basically, I read that story to you guys. So as up to now, every story that's on the Blodgett Show has been written by me, aside from the one this past Friday. I actually, I hadn't really gotten around to being able to write anything new recently. So what I did was, I had an idea for a story, but I didn't know when I'd have time to actually try to put it, get it written down, even though I do have to dictate that story so that I actually have a written copy of it. But what I did was basically, I ended up, when I was out here, just randomly, I called it freestyle. So I basically just hit record, and I just recorded myself literally coming up with a story off the top of my head without having it pre-written. So I had a couple of ideas on the story, a couple ideas of where I wanted to go with it, but but for the most part, if you guys go back and listen to last Friday's story, that was basically me. Just everything was like literally nothing had been jotted down before, no notes were taken. It was basically just me practicing. Because yes, I'm a writer, but being that I didn't get that written, I was trying to say, I wonder, because I know as a writer, you're a storyteller. You can write stories, but I was like, can I tell a story without actually writing it down first? So problem is like when you're telling a story without reading it, you're kind of trying to take a mental note of some of the names of characters, places, ideas and stuff. You're trying to make sure that you can keep that all straight. And I did struggle towards the end. There was one of the names of one of the characters that I think I called him James. But then, like a couple minutes past that, I was talking about those two characters plus one of the other characters, and I was drawing a blank about James's name. So basically, in the story, it's a story within a story, because basically it's called Camping Trip, and there's campfire, ghost story, or whatever that's told in the story. And at the point near the end of that campfire story within the actual story, I called him, their other friend, because, of course, like, in my mind, I drew a blank. I'm like, shit, what did I call that character? But then I listened back to the story when, after it had posted, was, uploaded and stuff, went on to Spotify, and I played that story to kind of listen to see how it came out. And yeah, there's parts in it where you can tell that, you can kind of tell because there's a long pause. So I was like, you can tell that I was kind of still trying to like come up with some details or whatever. But then later on in the story, you have certain things where it's like certain sound effects, like she's running through the woods, and saying, "I'm over here," it's a tree, or probably better, And like when I'm listening back to it, and it's like, "Oh, he's running back through the woods," and "Hey, I'm here," it's a tree, it falls down. I'm like, oh my god. Because like saying it myself right now out loud, it's like I don't think it sounds that great. But then when I heard the actual recorded story, I was like, actually, that came out really good. But anyway, guys, it's all about just pushing forward, continue to. It's like with the side gigs I'm doing. Basically, I'm trying to be consistent, so I'm just basically sharing stuff to my Facebook stories, my Instagram stories, and my Facebook business page stories every night. Like I'm trying to be, and if I do a business post on one of those profile, like my main page, I am making sure that I might have a business post and have a link like, hey, check it out, blah blah blah. But then I'll do like a selfie of myself, pictures of the kids and the cats at home or whatever, and basically make it like 2/3 personal, 1/3 business, Because I don't want it to all be, hey, join me, sign up with me, hey, come, give me money, blah, blah, blah. I mean, yeah, well, obviously that's the end goal, is to eventually be fully self-employed, but I don't want that to be all my page is about. I want it to be like, yeah, this guy, like, yeah, he has some business opportunities to post, but he also does a lot of stuff about him, his family, whatever, his life as a trucker or whatever. So I'm trying to do the best I can, and even though I'm not anywhere near where I want to be yet, I got those two opt-ins, those contacts in my email today, and I was really, even though I would have loved to make $200, but I was really happy that I got those two contacts, because that said, all right, cool, maybe the solo ad email campaign, even though you figured two opt-ins for 15,000 emails, not exactly great, but it's better than doing 15,000 and not getting anything. And the emails were just sent out, so there's a good chance that I might end up getting a couple more. Maybe I'll get if I get at least 1 or 2 sales. Hey, like $100 for a $13. Like if I do $100 profit for a $13 solo ad, then I guess that's still better than nothing, But I plan to keep experimenting and trying to see what I can figure out. Try to find new sites I can post on, and try to do the solo ad campaigns. Maybe try out a few different companies or whatever. See if I have better results in one than the other. That's why I don't necessarily want to do 2 different solo ad campaigns with different companies at the same time, because I want to kind of be able to say I did one campaign and I got this many opt-ins or this many customers. Now, if I have 2 or 3 campaigns going and I get like 10 customers, I don't know if they all came from one or if a couple from each one. So I know that's the first thing like Rico told me when I said, yeah, I got this one site approved my ad. He asked me, he's like, oh, that's great, man. So like, have you had any traffic from that? I was like, I don't think so. Because I don't have anywhere that shows me where my traffic is coming from. Especially because I have like maybe a half dozen sites that actually approves one of the ads I posted that lasts for like 30 days. So I'm not sure exactly how well those are doing, but being that I got those 2 opt-ins the day after my solo ad email campaign hit, I'm pretty sure it came from those emails. But again, like gonna keep at it and stuff. So anyway, y'all, it's pretty much what tonight's inspiration for this topic was basically because of, it's not like very big results. Didn't really make anything yet, but I had a couple of those opt-ins, and it was only $13 to run that email campaign. So I thought, I'm just gonna keep trying to get places to post online. And I know you can pay to post online, but I figure unless I know a place that actually will accept my ads, I don't want to pay. I don't want to pay. I don't want to pay to post somewhere and then have them refuse it. Because then basically you're just out the money and they're not going to refund you. It's kind of what happened on Craigslist. They only charged me $5, but then basically they put my account on hold. They're like, yeah, do you have more information about the company? I'm like, yeah, here you go. Here's the website. Here's what they do. Here's the services that you get once you're actually in the program. And they never heard back from them. So I was like, all right, well, that's why I'm trying to do whatever I can for as little expenditures as possible. Work smarter, not harder. So if I can find free sites that actually give me some results, hey, But if I'm paying for it, I'd rather pay for the solo ads, because at least that way they'll send your email out to all these people, whatever. And it's not like, oh, sorry, you paid and we're rejecting it. Nope. It's not a website. You're gonna pay. They're gonna put your campaign together and send it out. So, but anyway, guys, I think I'll let you go with that. Just literally crossed the Tennessee border with these 2 empty trailers going back to Nashville, and I don't know what the plan is, but I half anticipate that I'll be heading home when I get back. At this point of the night, I really hope they're not going to want to try to send me down to like Huntsville, because even though the miles for that would put my day at a decent mileage, decent pay for the day, it would mean I'm not going to get home till like 8 or 9 in the morning, because it's 2 hours down and 2 hours back. So yeah, it'd be like 9:30, 10 o'clock before I get to bed. And I'm like, yeah, it would kind of suck. I mean, I'll take the work. If they want me to do it, I'll do it. But if they don't say anything when I get back, I'm not gonna be like, hey, come on, man, send me down here. I want to work another couple hours. No, not really. I prefer to go to bed when it's still dark out if I can. A lot of days last week, I was going to bed when it was like 10 a.m., 11. And obviously it was very, very much daytime at that point. So, but you know how it is. I'm gonna do what I gotta do, which goes with that one saying I have that's always been a favorite saying of mine, where I say, and it's even one of the topics for one of the previous episodes: do what you have to do until you can do what you want to do. I'll say that one more time for those in the back. Do what you have to do until you can do what you want to do. So I've had friends that basically would actually, if you go back to the earliest episodes, there's a friend that I referred to as D. We were good friends for a while, but she was basically on like Social Security disability. Didn't do any work at all, didn't even want to do anything online as far as trying to work from home, because she was too afraid of losing her government check. And so she would literally just collect that $1,500 per month check, and she would live in her Section 8 housing. And but then she would spend all her money on weed and whatever else, and basically complain all the time that it sucks, like I'm broke, like life is never gonna get better. And I'm like, well, yeah, if you just sit around and stay where you're at, then nothing's ever gonna change. Like you're always gonna be in that same financial situation. But it just got really bad, where life sucks, this sucks, that sucks, everything sucks. And it's like I finally had to step away from her because I was like, I was always trying to, I'm always trying to do things, trying to make things better. Like, yeah, I've been through a lot, and I'm still not there, but, I'm constantly working on it, like, trying to get these episodes up, and working on the side gigs to eventually hopefully replace my regular income, side gigs, plus hopefully it can be working on eventually being a full-time podcast host, so you guys will maybe get a lot better episodes. Even though I look back with you, it's one of those things. If you guys are new to this podcast, if you want to, you can go back to episode 1 and catch up. But I've got to give you a little bit of a warning right now. A little, what is that? A PSA, public announcement. Not really a safety announcement, but if you go back to episode 1, I did go back and because they sounded pretty bad when I started. I didn't have, I didn't know I could use my Bluetooth headset out here, and so basically you're hearing a lot of background noise and stuff. But as I was doing the different episodes, as the podcast got further and further along, I started learning different things that I could do to make better sound quality. I figured out how to add things like background music, into the thing, and do an intro and outro, pre-recorded thing for the episode, so that way I could actually get things sounded pretty good. And it took me a while. So those first handful of episodes, I went back and I brought those into my editing software and I cleaned them up and made them a little bit better. They still don't sound great, they sound a lot better than they did, but they're, so I'm kind of curious when you see some of these podcasts where it's like they're like 200 episodes in or something, and they're like basically some of the episodes are then ones that they remastered them. So it'd be like episode number 1 remastered was then episode like 150. So they did like the first 50 episodes. They went remastered them to make them sound really good. I'm like, yeah. I mean, I think I'd have to literally record those episodes again with the exact same topic I covered. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. That's a lot of work. So I tried to go in there and clean them up, maybe take out the background noise as much as possible, So if you're new, I'm just giving you a heads up. If you go back to episode 1 and start that, the first probably at least 15, I'd say about 15 episodes. I mean, by 10, I think it's by 10 to 15 episodes in, it's sounding a lot better because I've gotten to that point where I was using the headset to record, didn't have the background noise that I've had the background music and stuff like that at the intro and outro. And now, because I'm trying to do Real Talk Tuesday and Storytime Friday, as you guys have probably noticed if you've been with me for every week for a while, that I have the special introductions for those episodes, where you have the music at the beginning. And I even have one for an intro recorded for bonus episodes. Bonus episodes are basically just either episodes that are done during random times where it's not on a regular day, or for instance, if I do not get a Storytime Friday episode recorded, what I might do is I might go ahead and do an episode, but but it'll be considered a bonus episode since it's not technically one of the regular episodes of me reading a story. I might do one to be like, welcome to this bonus episode. But I'm trying to see what I can do to make sure I have a story for you guys each week. Even if I have to try my hand this week again and try to see if I can randomly come up with a story and just record it for you guys off the top of my head and see how well I do. Because basically, I guess it's me practicing being a storyteller. So anyway, I totally didn't anticipate it'd be this long. I thought it was gonna be a shorter episode because of the fact that it just didn't feel. It's one of those where when I started tonight's episode, I didn't feel like it would be something that would go on for about 50 or so minutes. So apologies if you feel I talked your ear off, but hey. So anyway, guys, I'll let you go with that. But you know what I always say: keep being positive, keep believing, keep pushing forward. Believe you can, believe you will, and you're already halfway there. And of course, we already talked about the do what you have to do until you can do what you want to do. Things never change if we don't do anything, so we have to just keep pushing forward, keep trying, keep making those efforts towards what we really want in life. And so, on that note, I appreciate you guys being here, and I will see you guys again on hopefully Friday's episode for Storytime Friday, which should be episode 79. On that note, thanks for tuning in. Have a good one.